In this video, as we have completed this contact form, now today we will add the validation using the JavaScript. So let's do it. I have added some of these things. Wait, let me show you. In the previous code, as I was making this form, I have added. There was span tag here. Uh, First name we kept this in under a span tag, but now I have to use this span tag for another reason, for another thing, and I have to give style to it. So I have used label instead of span tag here. So I have changed all the span tag to label. Previously these were span tags. So now let's go further. So you can see one more thing which I have changed. I have added this on submit to prevent the default behavior of form. The default behavior of form is to get submitted, so we cannot visualize the things here. So we have to prevent this default behavior. And after that, let's go further. What I have done, I have added span tags in every div. Like for this first name, I have added one span tag. For last name, a span tag, email, query, message, and this checkbox also. And for this submit button also. So I will provide this code in. I will provide this code. From there, you can see the code and make the changes which I have made. Now let's go to the JavaScript file. So what we need to do in JavaScript file, we have given the span tag ID. So first we have to select all the JavaScript files. JavaScript span tags. So let's go to the app.js file, and here we will use var, and you will use the first name error, as we have given this name to the ID. Document dot get element by ID, and we will select here the first name error. So what I have done here, I have selected this span tag here. Like for the first name, I have given this span tag the ID as first name error. So we are taking the references for these span tags inside this JavaScript file. So like this, we will take all the references. Let's copy and paste these things. This is for the last name, for email address, for message, for this checkbox, and for submit button. So this thing we have completed. We have taken the reference of all the span tags, and now let's see what we can do further to give the validations to these things. So to give validation, we have to write some functions for these things. So I have added the functions here also. So what we need to do, we need to give the input, like for the first name, we need to give the ID for the input tag, and inside that we will give on key up, we will give a function like validate first name, and like this we will give all the things, all the input fields the same. Like this in last name, we have given the ID last name and the function validate last name, and for the email we have given ID email and validate email as a function, and for this message we have given ID message and validate message, and for this checkbox also we have given validate checkbox. And at last, okay, let's see these things first, and then we will see the submit button. So what is the first function which we have to write there? It is validate first name. Validation for first name. function. Let's take this function here. Function name will be valid for first name, and after that inside this, what we need to do, if the first name will be empty, then we have to show an error message in the span tag. So how we can do that? We can give the condition if. So for that, first we have to select this first name input tag. So to do that, we will give here variable first name, which its name is first name, and we have to select that document using document dot get element by id, and we will take the reference of the first name, take the reference of the input field which contains the first name. And now what we can do, we can take the value of this thing, like whatever the value is inside the input field of first name, we will take it inside this variable. So we have taken the value we have taken the value. Why it's coming again and again? And after taking this value, we will apply the if condition. If this first name dot length, that means if the length of this first name is 0, that means there is nothing inside this first name, then we need to display some error for this. So the error will be, what error we can display, we have to display it in the span tag. So we have to display it in the inner text, inner HTML of this span tag. So how we can do that? We can use the first name error dot inner HTML is equal to, what error we can write, like first name is required. Now after this, what we can do, we have, like, if it is true, in this case this if condition is true, so for using this else, we have to make it false, so return false. So this thing we have done, and we will now use the another if condition, that if, like, someone has typed here some number or some something else, like some like these things at the rate and something else, then we have to validate that also, that it should only contain either the capital letters or the small letters. So how we can do that? We will say if the first name is not equal to these things, like we will give a set of things, that if it is not equal to this alphabets, small alphabet or a big alphabet, then give an error message. So dot match, we will match it. So what we need to match, so you will get this thing while you will Google it. I have also used the Google bit. You do not need to remember this thing, you can get it from Google. A dash Z A dash So what we need to do, that if, okay, there is some mistake, okay, I have left this slash here. So what we need to do, that if this first name doesn't match these things, then reflect an error. So for that, what we need to do, we have to apply not thing here, that if it is not matching like this, then give an error. And what error will be, and this time also the error will appear in the span tag. So we have to select the span tag. First name error is the span tag dot inner HTML. So here also we can give the same error, that first name is required. Or we can give the write properly. And after that, we have to again pass this return false, so that this condition changes. And in the else statement, what we can do, we can write it directly, like first name error dot inner HTML is equal to, we will give valid. If these things, all the things are good, then we will write valid here. and we have to return true for this again. So now if we go here and write something like mid venture. So now if we have written the first name, then it is showing it valid. But what we need to do, we need to this valid is looking red and it is showing that it's an error, but it is not an error. So we have to change the color of this valid. So how we can change this? We can simply, if all the things goes well, then we can change the color of this valid. First name error dot style. We will select the style thing, style, and what we need to change, color. So style color, and it should be green. So now let's check it again. So now it is showing as valid with a green color. Now it's looking good. Like the same thing we have to do with the last name also. So let's copy this and paste and change the required things. Validation for last name. So what we need to change, we need to just change this name of the function, like it should be last, validate last name, and here also it should be last name, or else what we can do, no, if we do that thing, then the whole file will change its name. Last name is showing some error here, could not find the last name error. Okay, we have given it wrong name. Now it will be all good. So now it should also work properly. So let's give here name mid venture, and it is showing valid. Here let's give coding. This is not showing a valid thing. Let's see what the error we are doing here. So what we can do, we can remove this thing, then also it should work. Let's see it's working now or not. So we have given wrong name here in the function name. It was wrong. Now also it's not working. Let's write this code again. Instead of finding the errors, let's do it by ourselves. So for the last name, we have taken this function validate last name. Let's copy it from here so that we do not do any mistakes. Function so inside this function, what we need to do, we need to check the conditions. So here also we will take the reference of the input field of the last name first, and then only we will go further. Last name document dot get element by id, and the id is last name, and we will take the value of this thing inside the variable. Now we will check the condition. If last name dot length is equal to 0, then what we will do, we will display the error message in the inside the span tag. So last name error dot inner HTML is equal to what it should be. It should be last name is required. Last name is required. And like previously we did, we have to return false here. And after that, we will give the else condition, like if the last name error dot inner HTML is equal to give valid, and we have to change the color of this valid here also, so that it doesn't look red. Why it is looking red? Let me explain you. I have given the span tags, and for the span tags, I have set here one color red, so that's why it is showing red. So let's change it. First name error dot style dot color, and it should be green. Now let's check. So midventure, it is valid, and coding, it is also showing valid. Now let's set the validation for this email. So for email also, I have written here one function which name is valid email. Let's create a function for this valid email. Validation for email function valid email, and inside this valid email we have to again take the reference value for the email input field. So for that we will again create a variable var email is equal to document dot get element by id, and what's the id? Id is email, and we will take the value of this id, this email, sorry. And after that we will check the condition if it is empty. If email dot length is equal to empty, equal to 0, which is considered as empty only. So in this case, what error message we will display? So we have to display the error message in the span tag only. So that we have taken the reference of this span tag on inside email error. So we will do inner HTML of this email error, and we will write email is required. So if we go here and let's further work on this. Let's set another condition for this. As you know that email have some certain things which need to be fed here, like at the rate should be there, dot should be there, and we can use other numbers, numerical forms, and small letters and capital letters. So for this also you will get this inside you will get this in Google. So email dot match, what it should match? It should match with these things, slash you have to be very careful while writing this, as if you do any mistake then your validation will not work properly. So that's all what we need to write here. I have left one slash somewhere. Let me check first. So after googling, I found the right thing which we need to write here. So this is what we need to write here. And after that, I have passed this error message if it will not match with these things. And after, if these things match, and we also need to write the false, return false here. And here also we need to write return false. Now what we need to do, we need to write the message, valid message, which should be, sorry, it's email error. it should be visible in this span tag. Email error dot inner HTML is equal to valid. Now let's give an email here. So see, I have given a proper email, so it is showing valid. But if I give email like this, then it is giving write properly. And if I write nothing, then it is giving email is required. So email validation is also working perfectly. Now what we need to do, we need to write the validation for the message. So for this message, we have already passed a function here. So we will copy it, and in the same manner we will do the validation for message. So we will write a function whose name will be valid message, and inside this function we will take the reference of this message input field. So actually it is not an input field, it's the message text area. So we will take the reference of this text area. So we have already given an id to its id is message. So let's give a variable message, and we will select document dot get element by id, and the id is message, and we will take the value of this thing. So after taking value of value of this message, we will check the condition. If message dot length, if the length of the message is equal to 0, that is there is nothing inside this message field. So in this way also we can write another thing. Let me show you. We can give the minimum value of this message field, that it should contain this much things inside this message field, and if it is not containing that much, then we will throw an error. So we have taken this value and we will apply. If we have to take two variables also here, like required, that how much we will name this variable as required, that how much length we need inside this message. That there should be a minimum length of the message that anybody comes to this contact us form, he should write, otherwise it will throw an error. So we will take another variable left, and this will contain required minus message length. So this will check the length of the message, that how much they have how much the user have written here. Let's check this. If the left is greater than 0, if it is greater than 0, then only we will apply this condition, and the condition is message error. If it is greater than 0, then only we will show that message.error inner HTML will contain left, and left will show the value of the remaining, left out, how much space is left out, which is exactly 30. But let me show you first, write, and then I will show you what I am trying to say. Please write the message. So this thing I have passed, and after that we have to return false here. So the values get reset. And for the else condition, what we will do, we will write message error dot inner HTML is equal to, we will give the same thing, valid, that it's valid. And we have to change the color of this thing also. So here also we have not changed the color for the email, we will change it together. But let's check this condition first. So for message, let's type that mid-venture. As you can see, it is showing the left out. We have 30 alphabets. So how much alphabet is left? After that, it will be valid. Mid-venture coding is a very good YouTube channel. So you can see that it is showing valid, but we have to change the color of this valid. So how we will change? We will just change the message error dot style dot color is equal to green. So it will change the color of that thing. And the same thing we have to do here also, because we have not written here. I forgot to write message. So here it is email error dot inner HTML. Sorry, we have to write style dot color, and it should be green. Now what we have to do, we have to give validation for this thing, that it is checked or not. If like it is a terms and condition for the form to be submitted, so it should be checked. So for this also we have given a function here whose name is validate checkbox. So let's write this function here, validation for the checkbox. So function, and the function name is validate checkbox, and for this we will again take the reference of the checkbox. First, document dot get element by id, and inside this id, what is the id? Id is checkbox, and we will take the value of this thing inside this checkbox variable. And after taking this, we will check the condition, that if this checkbox is checked, checkbox is checked. So what we need to do, we need to just show an error if it is not checked. So what we will do, we will use false here. So we will do false, give the initial value false, that if it is not checked, then what we need to show the error. So how we can show the error? So we can show the error using checkbox error. Checkbox error, we will take the inner HTML of this and we will show here, and we will write please accept the condition. And after that only you can submit the form. So here what we have done, we have previously given it false, so we will return true here. So we have written true here, and after that let's write the else if condition, that we will see another condition also. If checkbox dot checked, like if the checkbox is checked, is true, then what we will do, we will display checkbox dot inner HTML. What we will display here, we will display that valid, that it is checked and valid. You can further go to the next step. So let's check this also. So this thing cannot be checked now. When we will use the submit button, then this error will be shown here. So for this submit button, what we can do, we can apply a form validation. We will apply a form validation for this entire form, like we have kept this inside this form tag, so we will apply there only. So let's write here form validation. So for form validation, what we have done, we have taken this submit button. We will use this submit button. So whenever we will click on this submit button, then this submit button will return a function which is validate form. So we will now write what we need to do if we click on this submit button. So we will give this function, we will write this function here, and after that we will give the conditions, that what we need to do when we click on that. So what we need to do, see, actually we need to submit the form when all of these are fulfilled, that all these conditions are fulfilled, then only we will submit the form. So what we will check here, if any of these condition is not fulfilled, then please display an error message here, and that please fulfill the condition and fix the, or we can write please fix the error, and after that only you can submit this form. So how we can do that, we have to validate all these, validation functions in a same place. So let's see. So if validate first name, so we have used not operator here, that if any of the condition of this validate first name is not working, then, and like that, or we will use this or like that, validate last name. If it is also any of the condition of this also were not working, again we will write validate email. Now we will write Let's format this document first. Why prettier is not working? Okay, we'll do it later on. Validate email we have done. Now we have to validate the message. And one more thing we have left, it is the checkbox. So validate checkbox. So the thing is, if any of these conditions are not fulfilled, then we will give an error message. So what will be the error message? We can give that please solve the issue, or we can say please fix error to submit, like this. So where we need to show this error message, we will show this. We have taken a span tag here also below submit button, so we will show the error there only. So submit error dot inner HTML is equal to please fix the error, like this we will write there. So let's see it is working or not. Like we have not filled anything. See, it is giving an error that please fix the error. And what's the error are? I have not displayed all of the errors here. If I will display all of the errors, then it will look very bad. It will look red everywhere. So I have not displayed all of the things. Now let's fill this. So to if we fill this, then also we need to write something. So let's fill it. Where is that default? I was having some mid-venture coding. Mid-venture coding @gmail.com. Message. We need to type at least 30 alphabets so that it will validate mid-venture. You can change the condition of this also. You can work on this project and change the condition according to you. Mid-venture coding is the best YouTube channel for coding. So it is validated. So let's check this checkbox. We have not checked the validation for this checkbox. Like we have clicked the submit button, but it is showing please fix the error. If we click on this checkbox, then also it is showing please fix the error. Let me work on this. We have to actually remove this thing after few seconds. So what we can do, we can just block this display. So how we will do this? And one more thing, this checkbox valid thing is not working. So we have to see that also. I need a message here that checkbox is working. First, let's fix this thing. So submit error dot style dot display should be blocked. That initially it should be blocked, that it should be visible if there is an error. And after that we will change the condition. So what we will do, we will use the set timeout function to display this for a few seconds, and after that it should be invisible. The element should be its display property will be none after that. So we will set timeout. So for set timeout we have a function, and what is the functionality of the function? We will give that submit error dot style dot display should be none. After how much time? That we have to define. So after, let's give 2.5 seconds, and we have to also return the false statement here. So let's see if it's working. So either error is here, and after 2.5 seconds the error message is not visible here. So it's almost completed. I will look into this problem, that why it is not working. And one more thing, what you need to do is you need to apply this condition for checking the validation for these things like general inquiry and support request. I have not used anything for this, any validation for this. So you have to do this, and also try to find the problem which I am facing here and comment in the comment box.